Hey guys.
Welcome back to Harsh Worded Tenderhearted. I believe it's episode 16.
16, first of the new year, I think.
Yeah, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone's New Year was so exciting. Ours was exciting.
We had a great time.
Yeah, we'll have a story time about that later. But for today, we thought... So actually, to start off the year, we were going to have a guest who is our other cousin, but she's sick. So we actually, the way it worked, we've mentioned before that we were going to have other cousins a part of the podcast to begin with. And when we were kind of brainstorming ideas at that point, we decided on one of her ideas for today. So we kind of have to...
Yeah, we kind of have to shift things around a little bit.
Yeah, she's still going to come
sick,
on when she's
under
better.
The weather.
Yeah, and we're saving it for her because it was her idea to begin with. So we know she has a lot to say about it. So today we're going to talk about, which still kind of relates to our story. I don't even know how to say it. I was thinking about it and I don't even think there's a word for it. But like sexualizing females. I know it's
That's
like a
good way to put it.
Well, I'm like, is there okay, do you remember a few years ago? I don't even remember.
Sexualization, the objectification.
Yeah. I remember a couple years ago there was this thing. It kind of started to be more talked about in the media because for years and years it was normal, right? And then it came up where there was a statistic or something that kind of went around the internet and all these girls started to kind of realize that they were being objectified.
Which one is this one? Is this the 97% one?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
97% of women were sexually harassed.
Yeah, I think
at
so.
some point in their life, yeah.
Something like that. I think we can all agree that it happens.
Yes.
And it happens a lot.
A lot more common than people think.
Yeah. When I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about how we've said a lot of questionable things online.
Yes, very fair.
But it's so funny because this is the one that's going to get me canceled, I think.
Oh, yeah, why?
Because I'm not going to sit here and spew opinions that are not my own.
Well, yeah.
I can't. I don't do that. So because I think I'm so honest, my opinions just don't... I think this is something that our opinions are going to differ.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the people I surrounded myself with growing up. I don't know if it was for so many years in my life there was an absence of a father. I don't know if it was because where I grew up. I don't know. But I've had a very weird relationship with this topic for pretty much my entire life. And it wasn't something that I tried to change until I was an adult. I do understand that it is a thing and that it shouldn't happen as much as it does or at all, really. You know what I'm saying? But it's somewhere where I'm very, very comfortable. I don't know why. It's something that I've battled my entire life. And I remember that thing going around and I was embarrassed, but embarrassed because I wasn't ashamed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have vivid memory, again, no idea when it was, what year, how old I was, how old she was, but I saw it on her story.
I don't remember this.
And I think it was on your Snapchat story, I think. I don't know if it was your private story. I don't even know how long ago it was, so I don't know if private stories were a thing. But I think it was a disagreement with your mom or something like that. That was the premise of it about this topic.
No, that was just to you. That was to the group chat.
Okay,
that was
okay,
the group
okay,
chat,
okay.
not the private story.
Okay.
I'm not airing out my business like that.
I'm dead. But it was something like that. And I remember it made me more embarrassed because I was like, oh my God, it's really real. You know, because that's my little cousin. I was like, oh my God, it's really real. It's not just something you see
Yeah,
you know, because it was so normal in my head for so long. And I don't know why, because I was also thinking about it the other day, and I don't feel that way with females.
If a female, if they sexualize you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit more comfortable. This is the episode I get canceled. This is the episode I get canceled. I'm just being honest. But I was written by a male. I was 100, as much as I hate it, I think everybody in my life can agree that I was written by a male. And I date both males and females. I've had females that I've dated tell me you are a man's dream. You are a man. Whether it makes them, they think it's funny or they're insecure about it, whatever. It's been said to me also by females that I am intimate with or that I am dating or whatever. And it's an uncomfortable thing to sit with when the entire world is wants
not that to do that.
Yeah.
Like to be against that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, wait.
Oh yeah, like that one trend that was going around on TikTok that was like or like men written by women or like stuff like that.
Yeah, I was definitely written by a male. And as much as I try to get away from it, it doesn't go away. I've also been open with like my struggles with mental illness, and I have certain like personas, I think, that are more comfortable with it, and certain personas that are a little bit
more iffy.
Yeah. And like something else I've talked about before is my unhealthy relationship with intimacy. And I started being intimate when I was I wouldn't say very, very young. I know a lot of people who started before me, but I would hope that my kids would start later. I'm just gonna put it that way. But I don't know if that's even it. That I was like, was it like I was still a young teen, so it was kind of like it might have messed with my perception so much that I just got comfortable being sexualized.
Sure, that's fair.
You know, I can disconnect it in my head though. That's one thing, is that I feel different when I'm being intimate with somebody that I have feelings for, and I feel different when I'm being intimate with somebody that I don't have feelings for.
Yeah, the secret roster.
Exactly. So like I do know the difference in my head. Something else I've also struggled with is balancing the two. Because even when I'm in a relationship with somebody, I am loyal to a fault. Mm-hmm. Like we could be on a break, we could be broken up, we could not even be dating yet, and I will feel so guilty. Anything I do.
Me.
Like,
oh my God.
I can't even answer or reply to my story without thinking I'm cheating, and we're not even dating.
No, for real.
You know?
It's so rough.
So like it has nothing to do with my loyalty, because I've never ever in my life been unloyal. I've never given like a reason to, but I've had people in my past, multiple people, have problems with the fact that I act single all the time. And I think it stems from the need to be...
Is it like a validation thing?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Interesting.
Because like I walk around and I can feel very validated day to day without male attention, you know? But it's like a different type of validation that like sparks something else in me that's like, okay, wait a second. And something else, I think the reason that it feels so different between males and females is that I grew up, again, don't know if it's because of the absence of a father, but like I don't respect men.
Misandrist.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I do, and I have the past couple of years have met men or like conversed with men that I do respect. And I have kind of realized that it is not all men.
Yeah.
You know? I just growing up, it was just like men are trash, and it just meant nothing to me other than the fact that it was like hyping my ego, or like I felt, oh my God, like I belonged somewhere. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it was for my body or my looks or it wasn't, it was still there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we've talked about this before either, but like my first job was at a hockey arena, and there was a lot of hockey dads. A lot of hockey dads would love to come visit the little tiny Asian that's working at the snack bar.
Yeah, didn't you have like a nickname? They gave you a little nickname.
Yeah, and like a lot of them would like mention things about my looks. And again, I was young when I started this job. I started working at 15. And like the way they talked about it was like, all I have is my looks. Like that's why I was getting their attention. That's why I was their favorite, or that's why they came to see me every week. And I ran with it. I ran with it for years and years and years, you know? Like, it was like, oh my God, true. So when I kind of started, like dropping out of school and, like, oh my God, I don't actually have a path.
You're like, at least I have my looks.
Yeah. At least I have this side of me that is so comfortable. It's awful to say, but, like, being sexualized. Like, it's so weird. I know that Kai doesn't fully feel the same. And it's a weird...
I feel like I'm like the opposite end of the spectrum. Not really, not completely, but like not that comfortable. I'm like weirded out by it. I'm like, why are you?
Okay, true. See, I wish I was more like that. And I have like tried to work on it, and I think I've made a little bit of progress, but it's still something that just like doesn't go away. And I had really hoped that Audrey was here today to talk about this as well, because we're a year and a half apart, and we grew up very, very close, and we lived with each other for a long time. Like a lot of our childhood was like together all the time. And we went through the same experiences. But I think she also has a different outlook on it.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's more on your side a little bit. I think she's a little bit more comfortable than you are in the scene because we grew up in the scene. And it's like,
it's very different from when you were my age.
Yeah.
Like from when you were growing up to what like I'm experiencing now.
Yeah, it was still normal.
Yeah.
Right? And like we milked it too. Like we would.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, not what the patriarchy can like does to you, but what it can do for you, sort of thing. Yeah.
Like we were using our face card at 15. You know what I'm saying? So like
you're still using it.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into with our New Year story.
Yeah. And we like milked it to the point that we would like wear our little matching Juicy Couture tracksuits around and bus around the city and just like walk around, and people would honk at us and we would like not even like, people can honk at me now because I'm doing something wrong on the road and I won't even notice it because it's a black noise.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like we grew up doing that all day, every day together. So, but I think she still strayed more to the other side.
Oh my God. I was in the middle of Shoppers Drug Mart the other night getting Tums, and I got catcalled.
Oh my God.
In the middle of Shoppers Drug Mart, in front of the stomach
dead.
aisle, like a whole whistle and everything. And I was like, I ignored the guy because I was like, okay, no. But I was like, in the stomach aisle, really?
That's another thing, is that like, she would ignore the guy. If I was in that Shoppers, I would have blown him a kiss. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't get away from it.
I think it's because I've never, like, growing up, I was never sexualized.
Okay, true. No,
you
true,
know,
true,
it was
true.
always my friends. It was never me.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it's almost like I feel
like I didn't start getting male attention until I was, like, in my later teens.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Okay, true. And she also, though, was like, her parents were very hard on her to have her nose in the books.
Yes.
You
I was
know?
very sheltered.
Yeah.
Still am.
Yeah.
Getting out of it.
I also was pressured, but I said no, and I was like off the rails. You know what I'm saying? So like she didn't have as much opportunity to be exposed to it even.
Yeah, and if I did, I'd have to be sneaky about it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like almost envious of the younger generation that's growing up in this, because I'm like, it's normal for them to say no. Like, don't say that about me, or don't do that to me. Or for me, it was like, if we said yes, we're a slut. If you say no, you're a literal pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, you're like a prude.
Yeah, you know? I don't even.
Now it's like if you say yes, okay, but if you say no, it's like
if it's
you have
yes,
boundary.
good for you. Yeah. It's
if
so
you say
weird.
yes, it's empowering. If you say no, it's like empowering, you know?
Maybe it is just when I grew up. Because like what? But then it still doesn't make sense with Audrey. It conflicts me because I think we just ran with different sides of it a little bit. She was a little bit more able younger to have that separation in her head, whereas I wasn't. And now I'm trying to teach myself that like it's not okay. It's not okay.
Good on you for growing.
I think that becoming so comfortable with being sexualized so young is a huge reason of why I have such an unhealthy relationship with intimacy. And for all of these years, all of these men and all of these people that were giving me attention, like, okay, so you know how I talk about a sneaky roster?
Yes.
That was my be-all, like that was everything I had growing up. Okay. I didn't want to date, you know, like I didn't want to have this happy family, like I wanted it deep down. Yeah, I wanted it deep down, but like I felt
at the time you were like, nah.
Yeah, I didn't want to commit, and I didn't want to hold your hand in the mall. I just wanted to sneak around and like whatever. So like it's this weird thing that I'm trying to navigate now in this world that's so against it. Because I also was realizing like I have it's a masculine way of thinking about it. So it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like,
yeah, because you just said that you don't respect men that much.
Yeah. And I am that.
Yeah.
Like I don't respect, oh my God.
But you're like agreeing with them in a way.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I know.
That's got to create like a lot of like dissonance, like a lot of like turmoil.
I know.
I'm like, how are you sitting here?
I know. And it's so funny too, because when I meet girls and like I make friends, I'm very like, I don't want to say good at it, but like I don't have any trouble with it.
Making friends?
Yeah, like girls love me. Like they think I'm a girl. I don't want to say they think I'm a girl's girl. Like
you
I'm
are
not
a girl's girl.
Right?
Yeah.
So it does. It's just two separate things in my head. And I'm so comfortable in each that I'm just like, it's the trenches up in here. It is the trenches up in here. Oh my God. Yeah, it is a very masculine way of thinking, which is really funny because the way I talk about Car Guy, it's so funny because I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, like the universe gave you exactly what you've been doing for everybody your entire life. Mm-hmm. It was like just a slap back in the face after I've been slapping everybody else in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Like he was my karma. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whatever. So we have a little story time that kind of goes along with this topic, but we went out on New Year's Eve. I, for the couple weeks leading up to New Year's Eve, was not going out on New
Oh,
Year's.
yeah. I'm surprised she actually did. Because the whole time she was like, I'm staying in. I'm eating my grapes under the table, staying in, doing nothing.
Yeah, I was
gonna make
fully
vision
against
boards,
it.
just gonna chill.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, I was like, I'm going out. I've never gone out for New Year's. My friends are going out.
Yeah.
And then she said she wanted to go out. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Because I'm just like over the club scene for the most part. I am clubbed out, I'm partied out, and I'm old and I can't hang like I used to. But I
feel that way, and I'm only like 22.
I know, right?
And I'm like, that's tiring.
Yeah.
It's tiring. I was telling one of the so bubble tea shop that I frequent, the owners were like, we have a good rapport. She was asking me about my New Year's plans, and I literally told her, I was like, my friends want to go out. I don't really want to go out though, because the more I go out these days, the less I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you're way too young to be thinking like that.
I definitely like started feeling it around your age, and then I just kept like forcing myself to go, and then I ruined my stomach.
Oh.
So then it was like, okay, it's okay. You're going to be fine without a party. So that's where I'm at. And I had, like we've talked about, a very weird year.
Very true.
You know, and from like January, when I think back to it, like I think I've been kind of like in a daze since March. But even before that, I think literally from the beginning of the year to the end of it, I pushed myself to grow every single, like all I've been doing this year is growing. Like it's literally, I've just been like trudging up this mountain of like being the next better version of myself, that I was like, you know what? Even if it's to celebrate all the growth you've done this year, just fucking go out. Go out, even if this is the last time you step into a club.
Yeah,
Natasha,
I was wondering why you chose to go
just
out.
go. Yeah, like it was just like a whatever. And my house is like under renovation right now, so I think it would have been a little bit depressing to sit in there.
That's true.
All night on New Year's, you know? But I went into it though. Like I can be I can't think of a better word right now, but like moody, you know, like I'm very easy to like switch. And I've also been open about like being anxious sometimes going out. So I was a little bit worried, but I gaslit myself from like the day prior to like, you are going to have a good night. It literally does not matter what happened. And it was a lot of work. Like I was exhausted on January 1st because I'd have to prep myself for this night for 2 fucking days, right? Like mentally. So I am like hammering it in my head. Do not let anything like ruin this night. Like have fun. You are going to have fun. And I ran with it. And even like when we were like in the kitchen, we went to our cousin Audrey's house to pre, and I was in the kitchen like,
you were kind of below schedule.
Yeah.
Not below schedule. We were kind of behind schedule.
Oh yeah. Yeah, true. Behind schedule. And my friend shows up and she has to do her makeup. So like we're all standing there and I'm like still like,
it's like 10:30.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, the club's like 20 minutes away. Yeah. We're stressing out.
We still had to drop off. We had to make a drop off on the way to the club. Mm-hmm. So like
we were stressing.
Yeah.
We got to the club like minutes before. Yeah. Got into the club minutes before New Year's.
Yeah.
We made it though.
Yeah, and it was funny because we get in the Uber and me and Kaira in like the way back of the car, we had to order an Uber XL, and he turns on his like little lights for the
he was
ceiling.
Like, they weren't on at first, but then he was like, oh, you guys going out for New Year's? Like, did you hear him? He's like, are you going out for New Year's? And we're like, Alex is like, yeah. And then he's like, oh, and then presses a button and like the lights come on and the music gets loud. And I was like, oh my God, it was a party car.
Yeah. And he starts playing Family Affair by Mary J. Blige. It's a very old song. So when me and my mom and like my family came to Canada, my mom was still like my mom was a teen mom. She was still like young and a teenager. So she would go out clubbing with her best friend here. And that was the song that like they get lit to. So I knew that song when I was,
Imagine going to the club and that song playing.
I know.
Like
so I was so young when that was happening. And that was the song that got me through all those young years of me being like, you know how I always said that I wanted to be older?
Yes.
That was the song that was like, I cannot wait to be old enough to go to the club and dance on tables.
Oh my God.
Like, which is a weird, like I literally wanted to be sexualized from the time I was young, you know? Like she wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a Playboy bunny or a Hooters girl or a Sports Illustrated model. Yeah, so it starts playing and like I'm like, oh my God. I look at Kai and I go, we are exactly where we need to be.
Yeah, she looked at me, she said that. I was like, you're right.
And we go and we get to the club at 11:55.
There's a line now. Yeah. I'm stressing. I saw the line and then there was like not even a line, but there's a shorter entrance.
Yeah.
For like people who have tickets. So we had tickets.
Yeah.
So we go in. We go through security, all this stuff. We're waiting in line at Kochek. Minutes are ticking down. I look at my phone. Okay, we brought grapes to the club because if you've heard the superstition, if you eat 12 grapes under the table at New Year's, you'll find love, and you wish on each of the grapes, and it's like this whole big thing.
And it's funny because I'm not superstitious. I've never done this before, but again, it was just like 2023 was whatever. Let's give anything a shot. I wore red underwear, like, you know, like.
Yeah, see, I grew up, my parents were very superstitious, my father specifically.
It makes me anxious.
My New Year's, all my memories are like just me doing the most ridiculous things at midnight.
Yeah. So we're in coat check line and my bedtime reminder goes off, which goes off at 11:59. Okay, because I need 7 hours of sleep to function. So I go, oh my God, my bedtime reminder, like it is 11:59, and they start to count down. And there's a counter.
Yeah, it was like a counter on the wall for the coat check. And
yeah,
then
like
we were
a metal, like
we couldn't find a table. There was a table, was on the other side of the barrier.
And the security was starting to close the rope. Like he didn't want people like running through the coat check line. So I go, do I get under?
And I was like, yeah, go under.
So I go backwards and duck under this table.
I follows,
her. Audrey follows, and we open our purses and we start shoving grapes in our mouth. The whole club's like,
woo! Yeah. Balloons are falling from the ceiling, and we're under this metal counter shoving grapes into our mouths like we're like chipmunks.
Like holding up the coat check line. Like, I can't. Oh my God. But we did it. We did it. We check our coats and I say, I need to go to the bathroom and I need a drink. And I think me and Kaira are the first people out of the bathroom and she sees her friends. So I'm out there with her. It was just too busy. So I go out and I'm standing by myself and I'm going to text Audrey to tell her that I'm waiting for her outside of the bathroom. And I can see this man out of the corner of my eye beelining it to me. Okay. And I'm like looking at my phone and I can see him. And the first thing he says when he walks up to me is, how old are you? And if you know my past, you know how much I appreciated that question. And I said, too old to be here. And he said, okay, so over the age of 19. Again, appreciated.
I just remember looking over and being like, who's this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I had no idea. But I was like, yes, over the age of 19, like I'm almost 30. And then he was like, perfect. Do you want to join? Oh my God, okay. Skip the whole part of the story. We were trying to plan a booth.
Oh, yeah.
We were trying to pre-book a booth before we went out for New Year's because I always say I'm too like old to sardine. I need a booth if I'm going to go out. They were selling, these booths usually sell, they'll start at $450.
Which is like $60 a person.
Yeah.
On a regular weekend.
Yeah. These same booths were selling for $1,200 that night. And I'm like, okay, we're not paying that much for a booth that we've had before for $60 each. So I tell the host, I'm like conversing with the host for a couple days prior, and I tell her that day, I say like, sorry, it's over our budget still. We don't want to book one, but if the prices do drop closer to midnight, we'll take one. And she says, okay, perfect. Around 11:30, 11:45, they're going to go back to regular price if they're not sold. I said, okay, perfect. So me and Audrey are like, it's okay. We got a booth. Like, we're just like, we don't have a booth, but we're like, we have whether we're buying a booth or we're
going to end up in a booth.
We're going to end up in a booth. So we're like saying this the whole time. And this man says, like, after he asked me how old I am, he says, perfect. Do you want to join our booth? As soon as we walk into the fucking club. Okay.
It felt like minutes.
Yeah.
Like right after coat check.
Yeah.
Like I walked into the club and suddenly I'm being whisked off to the corner.
Yeah. And it's like, again, I'm not one to like I'm very comfortable and I'm very forward in situations like this. I'm not going to like, oh. I said, yes, perfect. Thank you. I grab the girls. I say, we have a booth. Audrey's calling me. I say, we have a booth, like whatever. I say to him, I say, I have a group of 5, at least 5 though. And like, I'm not leaving them. Mm-hmm. And he says, okay, that's fine. And our friends are like all a very huge mixture of different types of people.
True.
We don't all look the same. We don't all dress the same. We don't all act the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like, it's all of us or nothing. So we're going. And then one of Kai's friends actually says to me, or they're talking or something. And then he overhears Kai telling her friend that she's going to a booth or something. So this guy says to me, after realizing that her boyfriend and this man have never actually met, he goes, if she's tight with this guy, she's good to come too. So I go up to Megan and I say, like, was it Megan?
Yeah.
Is she okay with me saying her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her mom watches the podcast.
Okay, love that.
Holly, hi, Holly.
I go up to Megan and I go, I don't know what he's talking about, but he said that if you're tight with that guy.
Yeah, I have no idea. They've been dating for 8 years, so
that's what I
hope
said.
They're tight.
Yeah, I was like, I think they've been dating forever. And he was like, okay, cool, they can come too. So I tell Megan and she's like, okay.
Yeah.
So then grab this man's hand and follow him, and everybody's following. And we end up in the booth. The booth's like beside the DJ, kind of. And we get up to this booth and he's introducing me to like all his friends. One of the friends ends up being the DJ.
Yeah. Crazy. They're like, what song do you want to hear?
Thank you, Grapes. Thank you, Grapes. But it ends up being the DJ, and
I thought they were lying. I thought they were kidding.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, like
me
fully.
too. Right? And he's like, we're like talking, whatever, and the girls are behind me getting drinks. I'm trying to like make sure we stay in this booth, right? So I'm like, guys, drink it up. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to these guys. And then all of a sudden a bottle girl brings up a sign that says just engaged 2024.
Newly engaged, yeah.
And we have a video of it. Like,
you can hear in the background you being like, are we a part of their bachelor party?
Bachelor party? What is going on? Because we were like, what? And it ended up being the DJ that was
engaged.
That had the booth, that was just engaged. His fiance was not there, but
beautiful. He was showing us her Instagram.
Yeah, we asked to see her and he showed us.
Baddest of baddies.
Yeah, right? And
he was a short king.
Yeah. It was just so funny. In that moment we were like, okay, what's happening?
What's going on here?
What is going on? Like, what is this night? We knew we were in for a wild night. So then the DJ, I don't know his name. I wasn't going to say it anyway, but he goes up to the DJ booth and starts DJing. And I'm like, okay. And then the guy that we were with, let's call him Booth Guy, comes up to me and says, we're switching booths. And I say, okay. So we gather the crew. He grabs his bottles and everything, and he moves us to the booth, like the DJ booth.
Yeah, like sectioned off by security.
Yeah. So we go up there, and that's where it kind of like starts to be a little bit of a problem. I think the problem is he took the bucket with him over there. So we were vibing for a bit, whatever. And it's so funny because like the rest of like what happens after this, like I wasn't doing anything. I was in that booth rapping Eminem. Okay, like. Like, it's just, like, face card never declines. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. I was literally rapping Lose Yourself. And then all of a sudden a bartender comes up. And the guys at the booth next to us also had bottles, but they didn't have a bucket, which is why it was making me think it was the bucket. Because the bartender comes up, one of them.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about bottles.
Yeah, she said, like, she was holding the bucket, and she was like, this can't be up here. Booth guy's friend was, like, starting to kind of get... Like, they were starting to argue a little bit, the bartender and him. Booth guy steps in and kind of tries to, like, calm down the situation. I'm, like, listening just to see what my next move has to be. And then she's saying that they need to move back. And he's saying, we switched booths with them. So then we go try to switch our booths back. These people, I guess, that were in this new booth were getting bottles delivered, and they no longer want to go into this other booth. So booth guy starts kind of arguing with the people that are in the booth that we used to be at. And he puts down the bottle of Ciroc for a second and comes over to talk to us and kind of like update me what's going on. But then when I say I need a drink. So when he goes back to get his bottle that he put on the table, there's like 10 people at this booth. They say, wait, why are you taking a bottle off of our table? But it was his bottle.
Yeah.
So there was a whole misunderstanding after that. So it was like he was trying to steal their alcohol. It wasn't actually their alcohol. Yeah. Like whatever. So they're like,
what was going on? Because I was literally just standing there being like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Everybody? Like,
yeah. And I kept telling them, I said, I'm going to go tell them that I'm going to go down there, find me after, figure it out and find me after. And now I'm watching this fight. They're like nose to nose. Okay. They're like butterfly kissing. These two men in this booth. And then I all of a sudden start to think everybody up here on this stage, every security guard, every bartender, every person in a booth has seen me associate with this man. The last thing I need tonight is for him to get into an altercation and then come find me after.
True.
You know, so that's exactly what I think in that moment. That would annoy the hell
out of you.
I know. So I was like, okay, think quick. So I like get his attention and I call him over to me and I say, what happened? And I let him into my ear about what happened. I already knew what the fuck happened, but I let him like blow his steam off. He's, I don't know why they're like, you know.
Yeah.
So I just let him go at it in my ear. And then I say, it's okay, come with me. And I grab his hand and we go to the dance floor. Because I'm like, let's just get away. Like, we just got like 6
You're
free
diffusing
drinks
the situation.
Each. Yeah, like it's fine. Like, we're already drunk. It's okay. So I grab his hand and I bring him down to the dance floor. And we're like kind of standing right in front of the stage. Kind of like he's, I don't know, making googly eyes at his friend that's up in the DJ booth. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on there. His other friend also disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't even notice.
The one that was trying to flirt with me?
Was he? I couldn't remember if he was trying to talk to you or Audrey.
Oh, I think both.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
True. He was just trying to get some,
Yeah.
He disappeared. I didn't realize till literally like yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, he was like gone.
All of a sudden it just became us and this one guy.
Yeah.
Who had found me at the beginning of the night. And which was like fine. If there's one thing about me is if I don't want to be talking to you at the club, I'm gonna tell you I don't want to be talking to you at the club.
Very true.
Like I'm very okay with that. I'm also very like protective of who I'm with at the club. I know that I have to keep a close eye on Audrey because any other day of the week, Audrey's gonna tell you she doesn't want to be talking to you. But at the club, I don't know why she's not going to tell you.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but it happens every single time. And I always have to like be kind of watching her to make sure because like there's often times that she's uncomfortable and I kind of have to get her out of it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay being like, did I tell you not to look at her? Like... It was okay because like I was fine with this guy. At some points, Audrey was with me the whole night. I remember this. And at some points, like Kai would go off with her friends. And my one friend, Alex, who was with us, brought a friend. So they were kind of like able to go off. So like a lot of the night, like it was just me, Audrey, and this guy. And then it was funny because like this man started to keep a very close eye on Audrey. But like because at one point, like I kept turning to her and our thing is, and she'll go like this or like she'll do like she'll let me know where she's at. And at one point I didn't even have to focus on it because he like kind of caught on and he was like, oh, like I don't think she's okay. And he would go get her. So I was like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, he was actually really nice.
Yeah, like this is like like the most pleasant experience I've had with a man in a club. That's all I'll say, you know?
He was nice.
Right? And I like didn't even have to focus on it. So I literally was just like only focusing on having fun. Like it was great. And I, at one point he pulled her over and she was like, thank you. Actually. I was like, why didn't you say anything? She was okay. So like we were vibing. Like it started to kind of give. I think you didn't know this TikTok when I first mentioned it. I'm sure people will know this TikTok, but the two people at the park, they're like dancing and it's like walk by every night. But everybody on TikTok was like, oh my God, like one of those like things that you see and you're like, oh my God, I want that. It was giving that, but in the background for us, it was Water by Tyla. Okay, like. And it was so funny because, like, just imagine the performance I was giving. Number one.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We were both having a great time. Water's playing, I'm performing, and I start to feel like I'm in a fever dream. Like, I don't know, like, what the heck was happening, but it's Broken by Kai. Like, it was closer to the end of the song. We're doing our thing, and I turn around and I see Kai break through the crowd saying, I found Tanya.
Oh, yeah. I was at, so the way the club was, there's, like, a country room and, like, a whatever, our room that we were in, very different music. Her mom's boyfriend's daughter was there. She was with her friend. She was living it up. I literally remember walking through that bar, like the doors, and they had like poles. I just remember she's the first person I saw. I had to do a double take because I wasn't sure if it was her or not. But I was like, oh my God. So I go.
Yeah. So she comes back and she tells me that she finds her and that we're going to go over there. And I'm like, okay, just let the song end. So after the song, I say to this guy, I'm going to go over to that side for a second. Do you want to come? And I knew he wasn't going to want to come. Like you could tell by his persona, he wasn't going to be caught dead in a country club. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you can wait here if you want. Like I literally don't care. And he was like, and I was like, but let me tell you, if I go there without you and I come back and you are dancing with another girl, you will never see my fucking face again. And he starts laughing, but you know what? He comes at first. He comes and he follows with us, and then like we like say hi to everybody and whatever, and then he like disappears. And like before we went back to the other side of the club, my friend had said to me, she was like, oh, he told me to let you know that like do your thing and then come find him after. And I was like, oh, cute. It was funny because while we were in the countryside of the club, everybody was like mingling. The two groups were kind of like mingling, and Audrey pulls me aside, and I don't remember who says it first, but Audrey and Kaira are kind of like, oh my God, he reminds me of Car Guy.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah I know.
Because we were talking about it. We were like, because I don't think she remembered his name, and she was asking me, and I told him, and I was like, you know what? He kind of reminds me of
I know.
Her guy. And she was like, I know.
And I
remember, was like, he's not balding though.
Literally. And I remember thinking it. I think it was when we were first, I let him kind of like tell me a story in my ear, and I pulled him down to the dance floor. It was in that moment that I was kind of like, okay, I don't know if it was a look in his face. I don't know if it was like the dynamic of that one moment where it was like, it's okay, come with me. That, but like as soon as it happened, and then for the rest of the night, like I was so triggered, but I was gonna like cue glimpse of us, like I was gonna make a good time of it, you know, like I didn't even care because typically that would have made me very upset.
It would, yeah.
Yeah, I think if I was at any other party, any other night,
I'm sick.
Yeah, I would have been very upset. But I was like, at least it's a car guy dupe.
True, could be worse people dupe.
Exactly. Like as much as like, I hate the man. Like it's like I was comfortable in his presence, so I was comfortable in this man's presence. But whatever, I'm like, I laugh at it because I knew it was true and it was whatever. So that's when my friend tells me like he's waiting over at the other side. And I was like, okay, cool. We're making our way back to the other side.
This is where it gets a little crazy.
We're making our way back to the other side, and
I'm leading the pack.
Yeah, you go first.
I'm going first. I'm leading the pack. I'm going through the doors. I look back. They're not following. I don't know what they were doing, but you guys were like, they were.
I think I was saying bye to Tanya.
Yeah. Okay. So they were stopped, and I was a couple paces ahead of them. And the way that this like entrance way is, it's like just a door, and then on your left side there are like a few steps that go up to the bar, and beside the bar. And between the bar and the door that we just walked through, there's a corner booth. People are coming and going, and I'm looking back to see if they're following. And then all I see on the right side at the top of the stairs are these two guys. I thought they were just roughhousing, like, you know, they're boys being boys in the club, you know, like doing their thing until the couch tipped. The back of the couch was at the top of the stairs. It fell down the stairs.
Did it actually?
Yeah. It fell down the stairs, and they did a little tumble, and at the bottom of the stairs, exactly where it was them.
Yeah.
And I remember screaming. I was like, Nash! Like, just happened in slow motion. Just happened in slow motion to me. Like, I saw them tumble down. Like, these guys just pummeling in each other's faces, and then, like, landing onto you, and I see you get pushed into whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
And then we get separated. I see security guards running, sprinting.
Yeah.
This one random guy in front of me, he's so tall, saved my life, pushing me back because they're like moving, they're hustling. The guy in front of me like pushed me back a couple of times, and he asked me if I was okay after, and I was like, yeah. And the guy behind me, because I fell into this one guy behind me, steadied me. So thank you, nice club guys. So I didn't fall.
I'm dead.
Yeah, and then we were separated for a while. I was like, what's going on? And then I found my friends. They came up to me. They're like, what just happened? I gave them the rundown, and then like
it's so funny because in the midst of this, we fell back, kind of like back into like where we were just standing, and this one guy was sitting there and he was eyeing me for a while, and he like waves me over, and I come over, and there's the fight going on, and I'm standing there, and he's like, I think you're so pretty, and I'm like, you really think so?
Like, there's like a fight breaking out.
And it's like, I'm just waiting for it to pass so I can get through to Kai. So it passes, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I go and I grab Audrey and we go, and as soon as we're walking through the finally clear coast, right, there was this girl that we were actually just talking to. Audrey and Alex were just talking to her near the bathroom. And I guess I didn't see exactly what happened, but the people that I was with said that this man was like touching her inappropriately in a way that she very obviously didn't want to be touched. So she goes to throw her drink at him. In the exact moment that we're walking by, at the exact eye level of me and Audrey, you can see the splash in slow motion. And it splashes, it's in our eyes. Audrey's lash falls off. I adjusted my lashes that day. Our makeup is off. It's all over my Skims top. For reference of this entire story, insert photo of the way we looked that night. It was all over my Skims top. I was livid. It's in my hair. I was like, we find Kai, and I'm like, my eyes are actually burning.
Yeah, I did not know what was going on. I was like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
I thought like somebody dropped a drink on you during the fight, like they got pushed.
Right. No, it was after the fight.
Yeah, and then like I just see your hair soaking. I was like, oh, what happened here?
And like, I don't know what the drink was, but there was alcohol in my eyes. There was alcohol in our eyes. It was like burning, and I was
Rush to the bathroom.
Yeah, we go to the bathroom, and we're like wiping our faces, whatever, and I go, fuck, where's my phone?
Yeah.
Where is my phone? And that is one thing I'm good for, is that like if I'm having fun, like I can lose my phone. I do it a lot. Like even
I get so anxious about it.
I need my mind to be fully occupied, but I can lose my phone. And a club in this particular setting where I'm having so much fun, I lost my phone. Okay? No single clue where it was. We retrace our steps. We go everywhere. And I go, oh my God, does Booth Guy have my phone? And Audrey says, yes. Do you remember when you dropped it and he picked it up for you? And I run with it because like I remember having it after that, but I was like, maybe I dropped it again and he picked it up or whatever. Or maybe he like toxic me. Like maybe he took it out of my pocket when I didn't notice, so I had to go back and find him. You know? So we go back to the other side, and he's up in the DJ booth, and I go, and he goes,
yeah,
and I go, and he comes down, and I'm like, do you have my phone? And he says no, and I check his pockets, and Audrey comes down, you have her phone. She checks his pockets, he doesn't have my phone. And then this man goes to every bartender in the building.
I asked every bartender except for the ones in Dirty Dogs.
Okay, true.
I was on my way there when you guys were already there.
True,
I was like, okay, perfect.
And he asked the bartender, and she goes, security, how's your phone? Perfect. So I go get my phone back from security. And it's just so funny because, like, I've lost my phone in a club before. I've got my phone stolen at a club before. Like, it's just like, I kept saying to myself, like, live one night of your old life and you're good. And I got one night of my old life, okay? I got one night of my old goddamn life. But I had a blast, and we're, like, starting to leave. I look at Kai and, like, I don't really know what's going on at the time. She ended up like updating us after, like we all got home, but I look at her and I say, are you ready to go? And she says yes. And I'm like, okay. I think it's different when I'm with my cousins. Like let's say if I was with Brittany at the club and I met a man and I wanted to go home with him, even if Brittany was by herself, I would be very comfortable going home with this man. She would be okay with it, you know? And it was a mixture of people that I just wasn't okay letting Uber home. You know, it's my cousins, it's Alex. It's just like I wasn't going to go. The universe knew what was going to happen that night for sure and gave me my period that day. And it said, you wanted to fucking rebrand, you're going to rebrand, okay? All night, this booth guy is kind of like hinting at the fact that we are going home together that night. I was also kind of all night playing into this thing that like he was getting something out of this. So like I really don't. This is where the whole like unhealthy thing, me being in my element there, like gets really hard because I was vibing all night with the man, and I genuinely would probably, like, if we did exchange information, would hang out with him again. But we're leaving and he says, let them Uber home and come home with me. And I don't speak because this was literally like every other time I would have said yes. I would have said, yeah, sure, you know, whatever. Like even if I was on my period, I would have let him take me home, play around a little bit, and I would have said, sorry, I'm on my period. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been a whole different story. But I was like, okay. And he starts to say, like, I don't know when I'm leaving, whatever. And I look at the girls and I say, take my number. Take my number. I just told you I had vodka splashed in my eyes and I lost my phone.
Yeah.
I want to go home. It is 2:30 in the morning. And I'm almost 30, you know, like I want to go home. And he says, if you're not going to come over tonight, then it's whatever. So I say, okay, then it was really nice to meet you. My eyes twitching. I'm like, oh, what the fuck was tonight? Like, it was at that moment, I was kind of like, somebody get me outside and give me a fucking joint. Like, I was done in that moment. Like, it was like, what the fuck? And he just walked away. Like, could he have been mad at me?
Yeah.
Probably. You know, because, like, I get it. Like, I play into the whole thing, too. But it's kind of like... So, he left, and that was that. And then we Uber home. And, yeah, it was a very eventful night. And it's so funny because I left the night thinking, like, that is literally, like, the ego boost, the ability to put in my rebrand, the, like the fun that I had, the ability that I had to,
that was a big test of self-discipline.
Oh, right.
I was very impressed.
I was even while being able to, like, feel like I was in my old place of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still was able to have fun like that. And I didn't drink a lot. Like, I didn't. And then I haven't drinking after that. So, like, I think I have a pretty good start to my new year. And night is exactly what I needed.
That was a good night.
It was exactly what I needed to start my 2024.
Story. Well, this is happening at an adjacent club somewhere else in the city. One of my friends sends me a Snapchat. We were in the country club. It's a picture of Danny Boy, the back of his head, a whole bunch of, like, it's like dark, and I did not know what I was seeing. I was a little intoxicated, and I was like, the thing just said his name, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're both at the club. Cool. And then I asked her if Chad was there because he's not supposed to be there because he's literally epileptic. And she was like, yeah, he's fine. I just talked to him. He's not happy with you. And instantly I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm not happy with me. Why? Because I haven't spoken to this man since August. So it's like, what? Whatever. Don't let it deter my night. So then Danny Boy tells me they went back to Chad's house after. And then he was like, oh, so you saw my friend. And then Chad proceeds to go, yeah, I hate Kaira and I wish something bad happens to her. And
That
then,
is insane.
And then when I went out with the same friend that like messaged me, she was like, no, like he has like a lot of hatred for you.
Like that's crazy.
Like he's, yeah, it is crazy if you think about it, because the last time we spoke was when he was like, have a good life, I'm not going to be part of it. And I said, okay. And I didn't, that's it.
Yeah, and like I think he forgets that he was literally toe to toe on crutches with Kai's ex-boyfriend at a school play.
Yeah.
Like calm down.
Like about to fight.
Like we know how you felt about Kai. Everybody know how you felt about Kai. So the fact that you're like hating her now is like just making your case worse.
Yeah, like it's
to be
jaded.
honest.
And it's so crazy because like up until that point, anybody could like talk to me about it and I'll be like, oh, love though. I wish him well. And he's out here being like, I wish something bad happens to her.
That's crazy. And I didn't even know that this was happening. Like I knew earlier in the night that she had said that her friend had let her know that she was at a club with these two people. And then after that, like I didn't hear anything about it.
They're trying to get me to go there. They were like, you should come. And I was like, I'm with people.
Dead. Well, that's a good thing though, because I think the universe was looking out for you, because I think that would have been disastrous.
Oh yeah, it would have been disastrous.
If you found a way there.
If I ended up, because I wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Originally, I wanted to go to that club because I liked that club. Not a big fan of the club that we went to.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
It is gross. Not a big fan. And like, if we went there not knowing that they were also going to be there.
Yeah.
That would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
That would have been a fight in the bar again.
Yeah. Like she would have had the worst start to her
I would have
year.
had the worst start. It would
So
have been
like
so bad. So it's good that we were separated.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know about any of this but when I looked her in the face, which was also another deciding factor of why I was not going to go home with this man. I could tell in her face that she had something happen. Like something was told to her, something like happened when I looked at her and I said, are you ready to go? I like knew in her
I was like, I want to go home.
Yeah, like you could see it. Like I was like, okay, like we're good, we're going. It was a very eventful night.
A lot of storylines going on that night.
I had a lot of fun. I was so
Overall,
in my element. I was like living it.
I usually
up.
hate that club. I usually I probably only had a good time at that club like twice.
Yeah.
And I've been there a handful of times.
Yeah.
That was one of the times I had fun.
True. I was like sure of it. I walked into there being like, absolutely not. Are you not going to enjoy yourself tonight? And it worked. And I think it definitely showed me that I can like still keep that part of me alive and like still go out once in a while and have fun. I still don't really want to do it more than twice a year, 3 times a year. But like without blacking out or without like having a bad time or having to be so into my old self that I feel toxic. Because I am very toxic at the club, but like I can go and tone it down. Capable of it. So maybe y'all will see me at the club more this year. But it was a very good night. And if it sets the tone of 2024,
oh yeah,
I don't
we have a good year.
So that's all that we have for today. Thank you for watching and listening.
Make sure you're following us on all of our socials at Harsh Worded Pod.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.